back, everyone. And I hope you guys have had a good week. We have our lovely cast here today. Introduce ourselves, guys. Kat.
Oh, we're starting with me? Oh, okay. I thought we'd start with Tyler. But yeah, so I am Kat. And of course we are all here with Feast of Fandoms. I handle a lot of your gaming content over there right now. I kind of try to keep the whole show running. I heard all the cats. And yeah, I'm
Meow.
I'm our Battlestar Galactica newbie.
You heard cats, and
Yeah. I heard cats and I know things. You know.
and then
And
our
fueled by
IT guy down
caffeine and
below.
sarcasm. You know.
I'm Hoochman, and I'm suspicious.
And today we're going to be talking about a lovely episode. But before we talk about that episode, a PSA out there to people, and that is make sure you're drinking enough water. Because today's episode
Don't eat
is called
yellow
water.
snow. Also, don't eat yellow snow.
That's also a good PSA too.
I think Tyler might be a Cylon.
Because
That's why I'm suspicious.
Yeah.
yes, today we are watching season 1 of Battlestar Galactica, episode 2, Water. And guys, there's so much. We were just talking about how the episode feels short because there's so much stuff that happens in it. That
It's very wet.
well, no, it's kind of dry. So I have my notes. We'll just kind of go down and we'll kind of talk about them. So this is kind of the first opening preview, right? Like we're finally getting into the series where we're getting that full opening preview. We're like previously on, and you're getting the full intro and all that stuff. Versus like I feel like the last episode didn't give us that full intro because it was jumping in. And so I don't know. It's a nostalgic feeling to rewatch that because I was like, oh yeah, that's puts you right into that mindset. Like, oh, this is Battlestar Galactica right here. This is that whole opening that they would always have.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, I don't know the whole intro that they always would have had because I'm only 2 episodes in.
Yeah, but
you're looking at me like I'm gonna know. Like I'm like,
it's just a cool opening to see. It's like it's nice. I do like also that that opening is very clearly, even though obviously we watched the episode, but it's very clearly like, oh, by the way, Boomer is a Cylon.
right? It's like it feels very much like Among Us. Of like Boomer sus,
It's Among Us if we started with everyone who's watching knows exactly who the person is. Hi guys, I know there's going to be a mystery. It's not really a mystery.
But Boomer did it. Yeah. Which it took me a second because I was watching it and I'm like, wait a minute, like for starters, first I was like, which Boomer do we have here? Are we Boomer on the ship or are we Boomer on the planet? Which Boomer Cylon we working here? Yeah, it was just booming all over the place. But like watching her dig through the bag and be like, okay, yeah, this is who I am.
When she looks so distraught too, right? When she wakes up, she doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, as you said, she opens up that gym bag, she sees that name, and you could kind of tell for a brief moment that she didn't recognize the name. If we said at least that's how I took away. Like it took a moment for her to like really grasp, oh yeah, this is me.
Yeah, I actually think that she didn't.
That she did what?
She didn't recognize the name.
You don't think so at all?
Because she had no memory of what was going on. I'm thinking that they're programmed that Boomer is still Boomer when it's Boomer. Yeah. She doesn't know that she's a Cylon. It's another person. Now, I don't know what triggers it or not triggering it or what, but something's coming and taking over.
Oh, yeah.
She has no memory. It's like a drunk blackout.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she's just been drinking.
Well, there are plenty of people on the show that have some drinking problems.
Yeah. Boomer gets wasted, and then all of a sudden she's blowing up things.
PSA, guys, don't get wasted. You might want to blow up things.
Or get wasted because you can blow up things because that's entertaining.
Yeah. Don't drink in C4.
I have to say that
no, remember it's G4.
Yeah, G4, yeah.
G4.
I will say though, for people who watch, so what she sees is she opens up her bag, and she sees a thing of G4, aka C4 explosives, and immediately, not even she sees like one set of explosives and one detonator, right?
Well, no,
That's
she
what I
saw the
saw.
detonator first.
Yeah, and
And
and,
then-
and immediately, like obviously, like anyone else would be, what the hell's going on? I have no idea why it's here. She walks it back to the arms locker to put it away. And when she opens up that briefcase, right, you could tell right before she opens, she's like, "Oh, I'm relieved. I got in here. I can put it away. I don't know why it was here, but I can put it away." And she opens up and sees all the missing ones. That's a real, oh shit.
I cannot confirm nor deny I've not had a morning like that.
Have you lost some G4 before, explosives?
I can't confirm nor deny that.
Oh my gosh, it is definitely it's a powerful start, right? It completely sets up the episode of, is what we're looking for is those explosives. Where are they?
Always
and-
a fun one.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they could be going
Where's
off
the bomb?
any minute. It's fine. It'll be fine. You'll get there. One of the scenes, one of the characters we see next is Colonel Ty, right? We see him in his room with a bottle of whiskey, but I'm kind of confused because I thought we saw him dump his whiskey.
That
We
was
saw
what I was
him
thinking
dump
too.
a whiskey bottle.
Yeah,
That's
that was my second thought. Was okay. We saw him dump a whiskey because here's the thing. That level, and I mean, they don't talk about this on TV as much, but I could see Battlestar Galactica doing it because they don't really seem to hold back.
Mm-mm.
If he had literally dumped all that alcohol and gone cold turkey, he'd be dead by now.
Or at least really sick.
He would have gone into full DTs, had seizures, and other complications based upon the amount that they implied he drank.
Oh, sure. I mean, he's sitting there trying to use not a Sharpie, but kind of just use his finger to mark where he last drank. Like that's,
well, 2 fingers.
yeah,
That's how you pour yourself a drink of whiskey. It's 2 fingers.
Yeah. Well, so okay, then I guess do you think he's counting how many drinks is left, or do you think he's counting where he left off? Like how much he drank?
Yes.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I hadn't seen it that way. I was taking it more of that he was just seeing where he
trying to ration it himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can see that. I didn't think about it that way, but yeah, I can see that now.
Because like if he is at that point, like he said, where he's like, "Oh, I can't do this in this state," but he knows he still needs to have a little something in his system or something at the end of the night to take the edge off of this incredibly stressful situation. One drink a night.
He's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that he drives better when he's had a drink.
Hey, Caprica whiskey, it's what we all need. The next person we kind of slide over to see is Apollo, and we see Mr. Apollo is having some PTSD. He is remembering, oh yes, he did just kill a bunch of people last week, or at least he thinks he did. And so
I don't see that as PTSD as much as existential crisis. He's not quite reached the PTSD level yet.
Okay, so he maybe the early stages, we're getting there.
Getting there. If he doesn't deal with that, yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you have ever had to fire a weapon at something that was living and make it not be so anymore, there are questions you start asking yourself.
We are getting dark this episode. I love it.
Yeah, we are. We're getting right in there. And that's kind of what he's going
warning,
through,
guys.
because he's still not sure that there weren't civilians on that ship. Even though everything that we talked about in our last episode, as they got close to do that escort, it didn't look like there was anybody there.
No, I was kind of hoping for somebody in window gun.
Right? Or like all of a sudden, like you go by and you see like people tied up, something.
Or they blow up the ship and we see floating bodies.
That too.
I'll go over the window.
That would have been a traumatic, like. Yeah. What I find it interesting too, because he goes and ends up talking to his dad, and they confirm that was 3 days ago, and they all look super well rested after, I guess, apparently 3 days. And then two, like, the dad is kind of, I mean, I understand the dad's mentality, right? Because as we talked about, he's from war, so he knows what it's like. But him telling his son, like, just shake it off. It's like, it was only 3 days ago, man. Like, I don't know, man, give him a little bit of break. 3 days ago, he just blew up a ship that might have had a bunch of people on it. So give kind of a little slack.
You still got to operate, though.
Yeah, but I think
you can only shut down so much for under circumstances like that. You can't carry on. You have to find a coping mechanism because you're still on mission.
Sure. Yeah. I just don't think the coping mechanism that his father's giving him is the best coping mechanism.
Well, he could get Colonel Ty's coping mechanism.
Yeah. I mean, as someone who has been in disaster and catastrophe situations where I had to be on, and I had to be on point, and I couldn't crack under pressure. Oh yeah, you do what you have to do to get that mission done. Because everyone's looking to you. Because here's the thing, Apollo, even though he's not at his dad's level, he is still a leader. He is still someone that people look to. Now, Starbucks option for, how to cope with that. I mean, hey, I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, but it's an option. But here's the thing.
A little bit of Starbucks never hurts, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have to find a way to cope. Whether it is something that at the end of the day, that you can eat, drink otherwise. If it is certain people that you want to be around, if it is an activity, like you saw a lot of them sitting around gambling at the table.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later. But those are all coping mechanisms for dealing with this stressful situation.
Yes, but I don't think we're getting that coping mechanism when he's just like, it's fine, shake it off.
You either do or you don't. That's the thing.
Yeah. And here's the thing: those coping mechanisms are how you shake it off.
Well, I guess for me, how I view it is, I completely understand the point you guys are making, and I do agree with it. It's that I think for us, we're human, right? And so I think that there needs to be, if Cylons were out the door, right, and you have that adrenaline, obviously you have to move everything to the back because you need to focus on the threat right in front of you. But in that moments of, I don't want to say downtime, but that moment that's not pressing, I think you should try to find a way to deal with that a healthy way, because otherwise it will eventually catch up to you.
Well, the other thing you have to take into consideration too, they are on a ship. They cannot leave that ship. They do not get liberty. They don't get leave off that ship. So everywhere they go, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, you're telling me none of those ships have a pleasure cruise? Come on, there's got to be one somewhere, right?
No holodeck.
No, those were the ones that didn't have the jump drives, remember?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But let's,
no pleasure for us.
Yeah. And the thing is, so there are other factors too that I don't think people kind of suspend their disbelief on, for starters. You are confined to this ship right now 365 24/7. Seeing the exact same people that are going through the exact same trauma, seeing the exact same damage, dealing with the exact same threat.
Trauma bonded.
And even in times when things are down, for like your downtime, quote unquote, it's not your downtime.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Because if you hear a fan stop, you hear an engine make a weird click. Those ships, everything that's running on them is life or death. So until they get to a point where they are not having to jump every 33 minutes, and they don't have to.
But they are. They're not going to do that now.
And they don't have to worry about, are there Cylons on our ship?
Well,
we still do that too.
Well, One until they get to a point where they can possibly dock somewhere, stop somewhere, step out of that environment.
Space Buckies.
Yeah, exactly. Space Buckies, or those diners from the Jetsons or from Futurama. The gambling
no,
planets.
Not again.
The asteroid belt. What? No.
Yeah. There isn't really a way to walk away from it, because there is still clear and present danger there. And if you constantly are thinking about the danger you are in, you will go insane.
They just got to look for that 13th colony,
Because, well, and so here's the thing you also have to realize too. One thing, if you look at Battlestar Galactica, it's very actually similar to the submarine service of the U.S. Navy.
Oh, sure.
Where you are confined, say in their case, I think that ship had originally like 500 people.
Oh, that I don't remember.
Maybe not even that many.
I will do a technical.
But basically, a submarine has 123 people that know that they are on a ship that is designed to surface more times than it sinks. And if any one thing goes wrong, they all die. And that's their reality every day. Fair. So the advice of you just need to shake it off in the big scheme of things, yeah, I see why that was the advice given. Because otherwise it will eat you alive.
I definitely just think it's an interesting tone to start off on episode 2 for the series.
The initial crew in the miniseries was between 2,000 and 2,800.
Okay.
And then
we got a foof.
Yes, someone here is
which is on par with a United States Nimitz class or a Ford class aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
And
then I was
I taught Tootie Tat.
You did. The president's ship lands inside Galactica's bay, and immediately I was like, man, Galactica is fucking huge. I was like, that whole ship, that's the president's ship, fits inside. We've seen that ship outside. It fit inside their docking bay. Like, that's damn. That was a big ship.
You want some statistics?
Sure. Let's hit me with it.
1,445 meters long.
Okay.
4,740 feet long.
How many football fields is that?
So that is about 1.5 kilometers long.
Okay.
So roughly just under a mile long.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just, when I saw that ship land inside there, it really just, that perspective. I knew that Battlestar was huge, and I knew that obviously the president's ship was smaller, but I guess I hadn't connected that it was that small and it was that big. So that was definitely an interesting moment. You're like, oh shit, okay, well, damn.
Size is relative.
Mm-hmm.
One person will say something's big, the other person will say something small. Some people get insecure about that kind of thing.
Like when I first moved to Texas, everyone was like, "So, is everything really bigger in Texas?" I was like, "Nope, the people are smaller. It's all a matter of perspective."
Yeah, there you go.
We see the president is getting ready to get off the ship, and she's trying to figure out what clothing to wear. And I think she makes a joke about having 3 pairs of clothes or
3
something.
outfits. Yeah.
And I do like when she asks her aide, does this look well? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And she just smirks at him and is like, you don't know women.
Because he was like, oh, no, you look great, ma'am. And she's like, yeah, you don't know women.
Yeah. She's just like, I look very presidential. Sure.
Yeah.
I do like when they get off the ship, they're doing their whole ceremonial, whatever you want to call it. We again start to see more of this dynamic between Adama and her, and I really like it. They really make a very good they're not necessarily in a romantic way, but in a way that those two actors are doing such a good job of having charisma between them. You would almost believe that these guys are real friends in real life.
So the protocol when she boards Galactica,
Mhm.
that's a very on point thing. What happens
What do you mean?
there? The whole protocol and how Adama wants to do all the steps.
Oh, sure.
For president. That
Sure.
is very, it doesn't matter whether in a system like the colonies, which is based off of like the United States or it doesn't matter whether you like the president, don't like the president, disagree with the president, agree with the president. It doesn't matter. There is protocol to follow. You're
Yes.
not, and as a military person, you don't have an opinion. Well, you can have an opinion. You just are not allowed to display that opinion.
Well, it also gets into you respect the office even if you don't respect the person holding it.
Well, and I don't. Okay, I agree with everything you're saying. However, obviously, from what we do find out in all of that, I find it very interesting that it seems like he's, she thinks he's doing this because he wants to showboat and he likes the whole formal and everything. She thinks that he doesn't want to do this, right? She hates tradition. She hates the attention. She doesn't.
She feels it's redundant.
Yes. And she thinks that he's just doing it for himself. And then she gets that insight from what?
Yeah, no, that's yeah.
She gets insight from his son Apollo, who basically makes it very clear he also hates these things and thinks that these are also redundant and they're not worth anything. But he wants to try to be respectful to her as well as make her feel welcomed and make her feel like the president because that's where she is. And so I think that's
something that Lee did leave something out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's also for the crew.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Because he has to show and defer to that president.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah.
And that if he doesn't do it, he cannot expect his crew to.
Yeah.
It also creates a sense of normalcy.
Yes.
Because in a sole survivor situation like what we have in Battlestar Galactica, everything has been an upheaval for these folks. So things that may seem frivolous or nonsensical or these things really shouldn't apply in the circumstance that we're all in, they're that much more important. Something as simple as if you had an office and something catastrophic had happened in your building, having birthday celebrations for people whose birthdays were there. It sounds silly.
No, I completely get it. Yeah.
But the card, the cake, that little bit of celebration to give people that sense of normal is important for the overall morale of the community.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And in this case, whether it's one ship or however many ships are left traveling with them now, the pomp and circumstance of the way that was done was to bring back normalcy.
Fair. Yeah, I can see that. we also get to see as we move forward that I think it's this episode or was it last episode that the Baltar was assigned assistants to help him with his lab stuff, right? Was it the end of last episode or was it the beginning of this?
Gata's assigned in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So I love Gata. I think I love his character. I love that actor. I just it feels, again, since Kat, this is your first time watching it, but me seeing, I'm like, God, I forgot how much I like this character so much.
Oh well, I've seen him in other things, and I'm watching this. It's a very similar character.
Mm-hmm.
He was also in Eureka.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and it's a very similar archetype for his character, in both this and Eureka, because in Eureka, where he played a man at a time, he was also, because he was a man at a time, easily corrupted by the people trying to create problems for Eureka.
Sure.
Here he is, a man with too much money and time on his hands, easily corrupted by a bunch of robots, or a bunch of robots named Six.
No, I said, guy, you're thinking Baltar.
I'm thinking Baltar. My bad.
I was like, wait.
Nope, my bad.
Data is the operations
the
person.
operations guy. Yeah.
I was gonna jokingly say that I love when that actor is in the 100 because he's in like a season, I think. There was 2 seasons of the 100 that had writers from Battlestar Galactica.
There's a lot of crossover with a lot of series.
Yeah, but I thought it was because I remember when I watched the 100, like it felt like one season really good, next season not so good. This season, and when they were on their updraft of a season that was really good, and they brought that character in, I was like, man, this writing feels really good. Why does it feel like that? And I looked at it, I'm like, oh, because these writers all did Battlestar Galactica. That makes sense. You brought some people that knew what they were doing. But yeah, he's assigned to Baltar to help out. He's great.
Well, he's not assigned until after something happens.
What was that?
The bang.
The big catalyst of this episode that we've kind of glossed over.
We kind of jumped over that.
I thought that comes up next. Is that
no?
Did that happen first before that?
Yeah, because he's assigned in the basically the investigation meeting.
Okay, I must have somehow.
No, it's okay.
I'm like, I'll look at my notes. I'm like, did I not write that down? I mean, yes, spoilers, guys. No, what the G4 blows up. Basically, so as we talked about this episode's water. The whole presidential thing that was going on board the ship is that they were transferring water from one ship to another.
Yeah. Basically, it's to the fleet.
Yeah.
And during that time, the tanks explode on the port side.
Mm-hmm. We just see it all going out.
Yeah. And in the forward sections. And they lose nearly half of their water.
Well, I think they said over half.
They said over half, yeah.
Yeah. What sucks is because they actually, I do remember they put a really cool line of dialogue that I really appreciated. It's really nothing, but it's something that I really appreciated. They talked about how that ship that they were getting the water, right? That ship has the ability to make water. And that kind of sets up the idea. Because you at some point you'd be like, man, how do these people survive? They're gonna run out of food and water at some freaking point.
But they now also have to do the repairs to seal in so they can store that water.
Yeah. Well, and for that issue, but before that issue, the idea that like this ship could create water and sustain them all, that's awesome. And then, yes, as we talked about, that explosion happened, and now they're really screwed.
Yeah. So that point is where Boomer is talking to Terrell because she's already mentioned about the missing C4 and the detonators, and that there's still one missing of each. Mm-hmm. But Terrell and his deck team are sent in to investigate what happened. Once they're in there, Boomer flying a Raptor is outside looking in. And there's a couple of interesting kind of I almost felt that they were tongue-in-cheek talking between each other. And I noticed Callie picks up on it because she's like, what? Kind of thing when they're talking. And you can tell Terrell knows, but he doesn't want to say anything because, well, that's his squeeze. Now, there's another thing you have to remember about their relationship between Boomer and Terrell. Terrell is an enlisted man. Boomer is an officer. It is usually very frowned upon.
Well, they said they need to make babies, so it's okay now.
Yeah.
Sorry?
They said they need to make babies, so it's okay now.
And that'd be probably one of the reasons that they do, eventually, well, but during normal times, that would be a problem.
Sure.
That's why they have to keep it secret is because, in the military, you're not supposed to fraternize like that. She may be required to call on something that could put his life in danger or vice versa.
And they probably need to not fraternize with the enemy too, probably.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to mention anything about that because I've seen to the end and I know a little bit more there, so I'm just not going to say anything.
Hey, you know what? We're just going based off the opening credits. And the opening credits was like, hey guys.
So, yeah. So, fortunately, Callie notices the charred bit of plating,
which is not good.
which indicates that there was an explosion. So that worked in their favor because now he can report this was sabotage. So that's where that got to.
Yeah. Well, and
then they have the investigation where they're all in that briefing room. The president's there.
Well, I do remember her asking him like to guess right what caused the issue.
That is something that is very frowned upon as well.
Well, yeah, you see, Data doesn't want to answer that.
Guesses get people killed. Assumptions, as the old saying go, makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah. Well,
as soon as somebody turns around to me in any of my points in life and go, well, I just assumed, I go, no, find out.
Yeah.
Because that is where things start to go wrong.
Yeah.
The assumption might be correct, but check it out.
Yeah, exactly. Verify it.
And that's the same thing for a guess. That is why Adama, no, we don't do guessing here. We find out.
Well, also
but she pushed it.
But he is the one who does kind of. I don't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? Because he when Gator looks at the president and looks back at him like, how do I answer this? He does say, just go ahead and answer.
Yeah, that's basically he's dissuading to her position. He understands what's going on, and he's saying, oh, it's okay this once. I know that you're not really doing this in an official capacity. You're just deferring to the president. That's why Gator looked at him. And
again, I love Gator.
Well, also I think in this kind of circumstance, assuming rather than having the information, it's going to do one of two things. It's going to cause more panic, which is then going to cause more suspicion, which is then going to cause more unrest on the ship, which there's enough unrest as it is. Just because tensions are high.
I do like that they bring up that when they're talking to him about Cylons and humans, they straight up were like, there's only a handful of people who actually know.
Yeah,
that's why they're like, we got to keep this under wraps, because they're like,
it was 2 or 3 guards, Lee, the president, Boltar, and of course,
Ty.
Yeah, I think knew. Yeah, it's literally like on, you don't even have to take your shoes off to finish counting them.
Yeah, no, it's a very small group, but like I do like though that they're like, yeah, but people have been, rumors across the ship, and she's like,
that's normal scuttlebutt. Anytime you get somebody like a guard or somebody else who knows something, they're going to drop something to somebody. It's always going to pass around stuff.
Or, for example, and for those of you that didn't catch the Geek Gauntlet, when we did that episode where we played Werewolf, Werewolf is a game that is very much a prime example of what happens when people don't know, but you let the rumor mill and the fear take over. That mob mentality sets in, and all of a sudden everybody starts pointing fingers.
When in doubt, blame Ando.
Yeah, you point the finger at me, I point the finger at you. Point the finger,
But secretly, even though we blame Ando, we know it's Shaw.
So,
yeah.
I'm still suspicious.
Of course. Let's see, what else I have my notes here. I have Caprica avoiding Cylon. So this must be the point where we make it back to Caprica, and we're kind of checking in on Boomer and oh gosh, I can't say his name. Oh my gosh.
Hilo.
Yes, Hilo.
Meanwhile, on Caprica.
Yeah, right. Yeah, these guys, by the way, we see that like they try to go back to Boomer's ship, and it's flooded with Cylons. They can't make it straight back, and so now they have to figure out how to get there. I feel like this is another one similar to last week, where they kind of give us little like 2-minute segments throughout the episode, because I don't remember I don't remember exactly what points of the episode we get that, but I know that we get like 2 or 3 of those this episode.
Yeah.
I do know that they let's see here. Oh, okay. I'll get to I think of the next segment where we talk about their signal. I have written Baltar weird. Oh yeah,
That's
Okay, I'm going to say, as somebody who has seen the entire series, including all the movies, putting Baltar weird does nobody any good.
I'm like,
I wrote Baltar weird. LOL.
Right. So
Like,
Tyler,
say,
I know
it's in space.
I know you don't want to like give away any spoilers, but that's a little too vague there, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things that like at every moment, anytime anyone's ever asking him something, and he's always communicating with Six, that always.
Well, the problem is he gets into it's head 6.
Yeah.
And so it's not always like head 6 like we saw when he first got to Galactica, where like he's, or even onto the ship with the president, where like, you know, she's giving him a lap dance, but no one else can see her. It's all in his head, but he knows he's still on the ship. No, it's like, oh look, you're at this fabulous lake house. I mean, if you are telling me in my head that I'm in a lake house, and all of a sudden something is said that snaps me back to reality, I'm gonna be a little weird too.
I just love his facial expression because yeah, I think it's you can only imagine everyone else is always like, because they'll ask him a question and then he just kind of looks off in the distance and like smirks or whatever, and then comes back.
You know, I actually have a theory on why he gets away with it. He's supposed to be your top end.
Yeah, he's supposed to be
one of the brain box, all right? Usually those people are rather eccentric. You know, you're having a conversation, they're staring over there. They're listening to you, but they're staring over here and like, and kind of mumbling to themselves. I think that's kind of a common thing. And I think that's why he gets away with it, because they just go, yeah, he's a flake.
Well, we're gonna. I think we've already seen it twice, and we're gonna see it throughout the series. Where there's gonna be moments where after he leaves the room, they're like, "He's fucking weird." They're just like, "He's a weird dude."
Well, and here's the thing: you don't know how much. I mean, obviously, not all of his conversation with Six is fully audible, but we have seen where occasionally he does start speaking more audibly. It's not just like telekinesis in his head with Six. So he may just kind of how, you know, you mentioned, is he just kind of like randomly spouts out some words and they're just like, oh yeah, that's just what like really rich eccentric science people do.
Yeah, well, they do make fun of him being like a richie guy in this episode. When we're almost there. Before we do get to there, I know that after the ceremony, after the meeting, you know, trying to figure out like assigning Gaeta to Baltar, all those things, the president goes back with Adama to his room, and they start talking about. I have written here, old people flirting through books.
I'm feeling kind of like attacked here.
I just like how
I'm talking old people with books now, and now I'm feeling rather attacked.
Flirting.
And I don't know what the peanut gallery out there is laughing, because you're included in that.
I'm saying no, because I'm right there with you. I'm like, all right, like I think I know where you're going with this, but let's hear what the young buck has to say.
I find it very interesting that they're talking about what books they've read and how many they like. Just it's very clear that they're trying to make small talk, but also like it's kind of, I don't know if you guys seen the show Ghosts. In season, I think 2 or 3, Thor starts dating Flower, and I love how they try to come up with what is something that they have in common, and the thing that they come in common is they both like owls, and so throughout the series they make a joke of, like, every so often, they're like, that the whole relationship's built on the one thing that they have in common, owls. And so I could see this like joke about like them not knowing, what do we have in common? I'm a teacher / politician, and he's a military soldier. Books, we have that in common. Books, let's talk about books.
Well, you're not entirely wrong though, but it may also be they're trying to find common ground.
Oh, sure, 100%, yeah.
Because yes, they are two different spectrums of what is needed in this situation.
Oh yeah, they are great. Yeah, exactly.
But I'm pretty sure they've both read The Art of War. Like,
or whatever their version of it is.
Yeah, whatever the Galactica version of The Art of War is.
I bet it's got Waffle House in the title.
Probably, yeah. How to swing a chair 101.
That actually might be more Farscape, but I mean,
Yeah.
Now I'm just thinking of an idea: the Waffle House Art of War book.
Oh Lord, that's like a WWE story arc right there.
TM, we're gonna have that on Feast of Fandoms soon. There you go.
But that may be part of it too. Is hey, like, is there a book that we can find that's common ground? Like, do I see something in your library that looks familiar?
Well, she locks on to the mysteries, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's like a mystery. She's a mystery. You know, I'm imagining something along the lines of Hercule Poirot, you know, Agatha Christie kind of things. You know, that sort of genre.
And he asked her,
maybe even kind of a noir. You know,
and talking about Agatha Christie style books, you can see that he asked her a specific book that, like, it must be like a big mystery, right? A big popular. Have you read this? And she's like, forgive me, but that is one of those ones everyone tells me is good. I just have not read it. And he goes, oh, I have a copy. Here you go. And I do like that. She's like, oh, okay, I'll make sure I bring it back to you. And he, you never lend a book out. You just, it is a gift.
That is something I grew up with, and I know everybody I've known who has books that you never lend a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have my share of
always a gift.
Books by accident.
No, it's nothing to do with that. It's how books work. In a kind of societal way is you're passing that to somebody. It's information.
Okay. A more philosophical approach to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, also it gets back to historically when books first when written word started to become something that was entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Paper wasn't cheap.
Nope.
And so you didn't have, like, now you can go and have 50,000 copies of a book. There were very few copies, and many of these books may have remained in regional locations unless, it ended up in the hands of someone who did a lot of exploring.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I was lucky enough and I'd saved my, shillings and bought myself this book, and I sat down and I read it and I enjoyed it, I'm going to bestow that to somebody else to read to get their enjoyment. Because otherwise, just letting them sit there is a waste of not only your money, but a waste of the paper.
To add to that,
also
to add to that is the idea is you also forward that on. So somebody else wants that book or wants to read that book, you forward that to them so it gets the book around.
Gosh, I'm feeling really called out right now on my bookshelf. I kind of want to. I'm looking ahead at my notes here, and the next two lines I almost want to skip because I don't know what I was right. I don't know what I was.
Oh, I need to hear writings on this because this is kind of like your Baltar weird. Like, yeah.
Now we have to hear what it is. So what's the next one?
So the next line I have written: Gaeta and Baltar wild.
They have that interesting conversation, don't they, when they're walking around the ship?
Yeah.
And it's basically the whole conversation is Baltar trying to work out how he can dump Gaeta to get rid of him.
Yes.
Because Baltar knows he doesn't actually have a Cylon test. And he knows that Gaeta is going to eventually figure that out if he starts looking around and stuff. So that's the reason he's really not wanting Gaeta around him, but he's trying to be polite, not to be obvious about it.
Well, plus he knows how much he talks to Head Six in itself. He doesn't want any more people that could be watching him in those conversations.
Yeah.
Because eventually Gaeta's going to pick up that he's not just eccentric. That
something's going on here.
Yeah.
The next line I wrote: finally, Starbucks.
Oh, okay. So this was one of the best parts, actually.
But I wrote this line before they get to the poker because I have another line that goes back to the president. So I'm trying to figure out what finally Starbucks was.
This is where Apollo comes to Starbuck. And basically, I don't remember exactly what her words were, but it was essentially like, if you need a stress reliever,
maybe that's it. Yeah, I wrote
in Starbucks fashion,
I need to be better about my words, I guess, the next time I write these things.
No, man, I'm loving these words. This is great.
I'm sure that Starbuck had a stash of coloring books.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, what I find funny is I'll have lines like that where I'm like, okay, I wrote that. I'm sure I'll know what that means later. And then I'll get to the next one where I'm actually doing full quotes. So I'm like, clearly some areas.
I'm told you're official note taker now just because of that.
Oh yeah, I have the next one's an official quote when we go back to the scene where the president is conveying to Adama that with the water shortage, because they're going to have to start doing rations, things are going to start getting a little more
rank.
What?
Rank?
Well, not even that. Just the fact that things are going to start getting. People are going to start. I don't want to say panic, but tensions are going to start getting higher.
Oh no, that's panic that causes that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and so
resource panic.
Yeah, and so because of that, she starts conveying to him that you are going to probably have to start assigning officers to other ships to, hold, police
troops.
Yeah.
And he doesn't want to. He doesn't. No. He does not.
No.
And so I wrote here the line that he says, because I thought it was extremely powerful. There's a reason we separate the military and the police. One fights the enemy of the state, the other serves and protects the people. When the military becomes both, then the enemy of the state becomes the people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I just remember when that happened, and I was like, why do I feel like this was written yesterday?
I mean, it's
not
true.
a new concept.
It's not.
I know.
And we do see that every day. We really do right now. I wish we didn't.
Especially if you're in DC, probably.
Or anywhere. Because really, the thing to realize is. And there's always this backlash, which is it's like, oh, we have to bring the military in. Well, not really, because that's a whole different level altogether. But you do also have to accept that in many cases, the military is better trained to deal with these highly emotional situations than your policing force.
What I really love though about it is you can see that this isn't something that he takes lightly, right? This is going to be a heavy decision to make, and for him to do it is going to be rough. And she tries to, hey, I won't let that happen. I'm not. He's worried about becoming that Julius Caesar, right? The person who won't give up power, that authoritarian rule by the military, and he doesn't want that at all. And so,
because that's never the rule of the military.
Yeah.
While the military is there to help protect us from, terrors, both foreign and domestic.
Sure.
Their job is not policing.
Yeah.
And they are not there as the peacekeepers in those types of situations.
Yeah. They're probably not trained for those situations.
They are.
Okay.
But it's different. It's different. Not as much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, there's gonna be specific styles and situations and how to approach them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, for your minor disputes, your minor shoplift, local police go through in many cities more of that training for negotiation of okay, let's go ahead and diffuse the situation.
Well, hopefully they do.
Yeah. Where the goal is deflection, diffusion versus we're just going to slap everyone in cuffs and haul them off. Where the military is slightly more trained for we're just going to put you all in cuffs, lock you in cages, and we'll sort you out in a minute.
God, I feel like, are we a news pot? No, we're that's right.
There's also another aspect to this. It doesn't really get into that, but you also have to think if you take the police and you start to militarize the police, you have the same problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, if you start sending out your police in full combat gear onto the streets, how are they going to act?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think it's a very powerful moment. I think both actors do a great job in that scene. It feels very emotional. It feels very impactful. And again, those two like those two are yin and yang to each other almost at this point, because it is. I think if it could have if it would have been anyone else, this wouldn't have worked. I think these two just make it work. I have in my notes we jump so kind of how Baltar gets rid of Gata is he goes into the room to play poker with all of the pilots and everyone. And he shakes them off. He goes, "Hey, I don't have any money, but I have this really nice expensive jacket that's worth quite a bit of money. Can I be dealt in?" And we see it ultimately gets down to between he and Starbuck playing. And they're trying to gauge each other to see who's bluffing and who's not, right? And there's some very interesting tension between those two during this, again,
Little back and forth. Yeah.
Trying to see, is he lying? Is he, what's going on? Ultimately, Baltar wins. Turns out he's really good at cards. Who would have thought?
Actually, I would have.
Yeah, he has a good poker face. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, his poker face so far in this crew has not been great. So
But that works to his benefit.
Yeah. Because nobody expected him to be that smooth.
And I do like, if you notice that when he puts on a jacket, it's not the same jacket again. He's putting on a different jacket. So don't know where he got that.
The other thing to take away from that is not only the fact that he won and how he won, but how Starbuck deals with losing.
Well,
she does not handle it very well at all.
I'm like looking at my notes. I'm like,
I mean, she didn't punch him.
No.
But, yeah,
you can see that was a big ego. That was a big ego knock to her.
Oh, yeah. It was. But I mean, they do have that lovely moment of lighting cigarette that they had.
Yeah, the cigars. Yeah.
Him lighting that.
He refers to them as churros.
Yeah,
I think or something like that.
Him lighting that up for her, and just being so close together, and such a very.
That's not what you think it is, though. No, that's ego. That's ego play.
That's intimidation. Yeah,
that's intimidation and ego play. That is not what you think it is.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm coming across that there seems to be like that. There is ego. I know. I completely see that, but I also just felt like there was a weird sense of tension that.
That was the ego, but it's easy to confuse it because it was very disguised.
Yeah, because it is the ego of I'm watching you and you don't intimidate me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I had a different read on that scene. Yeah. Because how I viewed it was like they were like obviously Starbucks was frustrated that she lost with him, but also that the borderline of when you can hate someone but also like want to fuck their brains out, like the
only tree
sexual tension into it, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no. The only tree she wants to climb is Apollo. I've already figured that part out.
Well, so far.
Yeah. In the mini series and the 2 episodes I've watched, the only tree she wants to climb is Apollo. Remember, if you were under my command and your officer doesn't listen to you, you slap them across the mouth, haul them down to sick bay, and shove their medicine down their throat.
Gotta get their chems.
Yeah.
About this point, they are, as we talked about, they are trying to repair the ship so they can put water in there, but they know that they won't be repaired in time to be able to get the water the way they need to. They're gonna run out of water in a couple days. It's bad. They send out a bunch of raptors to look at a couple different planets to see if they can find
Well, there's four systems within jump range of the Raptors that could potentially have ice. Now, I do remember actually at the time when this came out, there was a big debate in the scientific community about how much water there was out there in the universe, and a lot of the ideas at the time was that there wasn't that much; it was fairly barren. Since then, because of the discovery of a lot of exoplanets and stuff, and a lot of research, they're now saying that there's a lot of water out there.
I would assume there would be.
Yeah, but at that time in the mid 2000s, there was a big debate because remember, exoplanets had only been discovered really in like that 10-year frame from there, and they hadn't found a lot. But now there's thousands of systems that they found.
Satellites also didn't have the technology that they have now. So really all they could read they could gather what the gas types were as they kind of orbited. And they could see like temperature readings. But now they can actually get closer and see like, is that composition, like there's a ton of ice on a lot of planets, but some of that ice is toxic.
Yeah.
Because it's like frozen nitrogen. But that doesn't mean that with something simple you couldn't convert if needed. So the science has come a long ways.
You can kind of see that with what they're looking for, right? Because they're not just looking for ice; they're looking for ice that they can use. What I like, I said there's four Raptors out there. 3 of them make it back, and just there's no.
We all know the real reason for this is because Colonel Ty just wanted his drink on the rocks.
Well, yeah. and they needed to really hammer in some more about Boomer being a Cylon. One of these things is not like the other.
We're getting there. So 3 of them come back. There's no water. Ty is already feeling like this is impossible. I think he refers to it. I think doesn't he say it's like finding a grain of sand on the beach?
No, he said that they originally say it was a needle in a haystack, and then they go, no, it's a needle in a pile of needles. Needle stack. Okay. And then he starts talking about sand and
like a grain of salt and sand or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we jump back over to Boomer, who is with her co-pilot or whatever there, and they're scanning.
It was basically a Rio.
Yeah,
radar intercept officer.
He's not seeing anything on his radar, but she is. But we can see that Cylon push from her. And you can see she doesn't understand it because she can't say the words that she sees the water. And it's almost it's weird, like blackout, because you can see in her eyes that she's very confused by this because she's looking at it, she sees it, but her mouth won't say it and her mind won't acknowledge. It's just one of those like, I can't.
It was an inner conflict.
Yeah, and she's trying to, and she doesn't know why. Right?
She even has her hand on that
what I like about that is when she reaches down, right, and she reaches down, puts her hand, and you can see she activates the G4, and she looks down. That's when she first realizes that the explosive's right there. She didn't even know. Yeah. And so that plays into that like Cylon built in there, like sleeper cell that she doesn't know it's there. Is probably just like, I think at this point she is, because earlier on, right, she was worried about telling everyone because she's worried people are going to see her as a Cylon. I think at this point, when she's looking down and seeing the G4 and the fact that she can't say anything, I think things are starting to connect in her head that she can't admit. I think
that's a possibility.
I'm getting the idea that she is like, as we talked about, the Cylon version of her and Boomer are separate. They're different minds in the same head. I think this one is obviously, this one knows that it's all fake. I think this one is starting to figure it out with that moment. And she, her radar guys, it's like, oh, I guess we should turn back. And she kind of says, let's do one more pass. Something that seems like a normal thing to say, because she's hoping he's going to see it, right? She's trying to see if he will see it on the radar, because then it's not her breaking that whatever urge
fourth wall she's got.
Yeah. And so they pass through and they see it. And once they do, she's able to like take that sign of like that, takes that breather, like, and she turns off the explosive. She was able to overcome that conflict that she was somehow fighting that she didn't know why she was fighting. She jumps back to the ship. Everyone's excited. She's letting people know, hey, we found water. You can see everyone on board is happy, as you said. Well, Ty can now have his on the rocks now.
Yeah.
But she turns around when she's getting off off of her ship and walking away, and she asks Chief Tyrrell to check down by her seat, and he goes to assign somebody to do it. She's like, "No, I want you to do it."
Yeah. So he climbs in
he
there.
Goes and he looks down. And he goes,
sees
"That's not good."
Yep. It does make me wonder why it got put there in the first place, because if that's,
I can tell you exactly why.
Why?
It was in the script.
Plot armor.
Fair enough.
It was put there in an attempt
herself, because she knew. I think her other self knew this situation was going to come around.
Yeah.
Or potentially could come around. And that was what it was. It was originally going to plan to bang. Oh, we lost the Raptor. Guess they didn't find anything.
Yeah, maybe. We have that. I have next that we jump back to
the peanut gallery is making weird noises.
Caprica, back to Caprica Boomer and Hilo, and they have picked up a signal, right? A intercom signal that sounds like I think don't they say it's a military signal?
Yes, they said it's a colonial signal, but she couldn't decipher it. Yeah. I really think it should have been, we've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
She needs to make sure she has her Cylon insurance.
Yeah.
But what I like is we're starting to see also that a romance is forming between Hilo and Boomer. And I think it's an interesting what we're seeing, because a couple things. One, we kind of got the good appearance, and everything we've seen from Hilo is that this wasn't initially at all a romantic relationship. He never saw her in that way, at least from what we've seen so far. I have
to kind of disagree.
Okay.
I think it was more because even when they were on the shuttle, like in the miniseries, there was a lot of banter. There was a lot of like playful back and forth, which, because of rank and file and their situations and everything else.
Well, he knew that she was sleeping with Chief. Like, everyone knew.
Well, yeah. But so because of
Boomer
that,
is just a barracks bunny.
Well, whatever.
She is.
Dude, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
I'm not gonna.
Gotta do what you gotta do. But because of that, because of that also, may have been for him. He's like, you know what? Hey, I'm just gonna take my back seat. Let her get this out of her system. But there was that playfulness back and forth. So I wouldn't say that it was never there. I say it was more
brother
subtle.
And sister. I read that as more brother and sister banter.
Or at
least like that close friendship that you would have with your, the same way we see often written in a lot of movies and stories where, cops have their partner, right? Where
please, nobody have any furniture fall on them and then get them stuck or anything.
I don't even know where that was going, and I don't want to know.
Probably not old enough.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about being inside dryers, so I mean,
no.
I guess,
but no, I mean there was the tension you thought you saw between Starbuck and guy whose name I can never remember.
Baltar.
Yeah, Baltar. It was different. It was the same but different.
Okay.
Because here's one thing you have to understand. In competitive careers like being a pilot.
Sure.
The one-upmanship
Mm-hmm.
is how men flirt. And when you are a woman who is in a highly male-dominant career, guess how you flirt?
Staring.
Well, that too. But
making weird noises at people.
You learn that one-upmanship.
Said to guess.
And so it turns in. So what you are seeing as banter between
Mm-hmm.
two friends
Mm-hmm.
is that quiet, casual flirt back and
Okay.
forth where they're always trying to one-up each other.
I could see that. I could maybe see that. And then obviously us knowing the situation with Boomer, it's pretty obviously I don't believe that this Boomer in any way is a sleeper agent.
No, this
Would-
is
Well,
this
depends
Boomer.
on what you mean by
sleeper.
agent.
Man, so hold on, I gotta go back to that Barracks Bunny comment for a minute. Can you imagine?
This is not fair because there's two of them.
Not that, but can you imagine when it's like, bro, how did you not know? Like, either, and I get they're Cylons, they're very anatomically correct, so to speak. But there's gotta be the question at some point of like, bruh, how did you not know?
I guess it just wasn't that cold down there.
But you know what I'm saying? Like someone at some point is gonna have that moment. I know it's not gonna be in the show, but in the real world of that situation,
you never know.
someone's gonna be like, bruh.
Well, what do you I genuinely don't think this Boomer, like this Boomer knows that they're a Cylon. I think, right? Like, it's very clear this Boomer is trying to infiltrate to get back to the ship using Hilo as a way in.
Yeah.
And so I think that could be,
or she's trying to get information from Hilo to get back in.
That could be too. But at this exact moment, for the most part, they don't know the situation with the Boomer on Galactica, right? Because there's no.
Well, I think
we're aware of.
Well, they do know that there is a
Cylons
Cylon on board now.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the Cylons, but what I mean is, like, I don't think.
I think that Cylons know where Cylons are. So okay. I think that Head 6 through Baltar is keeping track of Ship Boomer. Don't nod your head. I haven't seen the rest of it yet.
You can't say anything, Chris. Quiet.
Which is how they know that eventually Sleeper Agent Ship Boomer is going to have to be dealt with in an unceremonious way for them to be able to bring in Planet Boomer.
I think what we're gonna have to do to continue this show. So Kat is the one who watches the new episode every week because she's never seen it. I'll watch it because it's been a while since I've watched it, and then Chris can't watch it at all, and he just kind of has to go and roll with it. He'll be like, I think that happened this week. So yeah, they're gonna have a romance. We see them kind of make out in. Was it raining? I don't remember. Was it raining?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah. So
it's basically it's to do with the bombs.
Well, I guess nothing is more romantic than acid rain and all that stuff. Normal traditional romance. We get to a part where towards the end we have the president talking with Apollo. They're going back and forth talking about how Apollo's feeling about the destroying the Olympic carrier, right? And she brings up how when she used to communicate with the former president about a specific situation, like was it a mistake, this and that, how do you deal with regret and how do you deal with what's right and wrong and that kind of thing, right? She
had something for him, remember?
Say that again?
She had something for him in that conversation.
I'm getting there.
Okay, all right. I thought you jumped over it. Sorry.
Nope. She explains one of the things that he had told the president formerly had told her was that he would keep inside his desk a manifest of all the names that died based off of like orders that he had done, right? To kind of
That when he sent the Marines into Erelon.
Yeah. And all the lives that were lost.
Yeah.
He looks, Apollo looks at her and he's like, "What do you think the blowing up the Olympic carrier?" Because she does convey that the reason why, one of the reasons why he keeps the names on the desk was because maybe it could have been a mistake. So he asks her, "What do you think me blowing up the Olympic carrier was a mistake?" And she goes, "Well, I might not have a desk right now," but she pulls out of her pocket the folded note of the Olympic carrier. And all I could think is she trying to fuck up Apollo? Like trying to make his guilt even worse. Like, we already established that he might be on the verge of PTSD, and you're like, "Oh, so you might have accidentally killed people."
I think she's trying to keep him from becoming his father.
No, well, I don't think she has anything against his father yet.
No, but there are certain things that when you get to the rank he is at, you have had to make enough of those decisions, and you have used whatever methods you had to come to terms with them. And sometimes that makes people, and especially higher ranking officials,
a little more colder.
They come across as colder, less humane. Than someone like Apollo, who is still kind of struggling with his footing. So basically, it's her trying to say it, or it's look at like the younger generation. Like think of your grandpa, Tyler. Would your grandpa have ever cried?
Yeah, Tyler.
But like your grandpa's generation, would he have ever? He's a man. Would he have ever cried?
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah. Versus like like the younger generation,
no good answer.
Where they're willing to be more emotional, more open, more emotionally available, and less emotionally stunted.
Sure.
So I think that is what she's trying to do with Apollo, to kind of prevent that emotional immaturity that his father has, because he's had to like just shove it all down and slap a lid on it.
I do agree that I think that's what she's trying to do.
Right. Now, is it going to work? Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, all I think is, if I was in Apollo's shoes, is like, "Oh, so what you're saying is what I did was a mistake and I killed people. Son of a bitch."
Man, I was in Apollo's shoes, I'd be like, "I said, bitch."
I was like, he was still finally kind of like this whole episode getting over the situation. And he's like, "Oh, fuck, maybe I did kill people."
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I'd be like, "Give me a lighter, just boom."
Yeah, son of a bitch.
Said, bitch.
Just eat it.
Yeah.
Just take it out of her hand and eat it real quick.
Just grab
it. And so we see in this conversation also that she decides to offer him a job. She wants to kind of have a liaison. Well, and at first it seems to be she's asking a liaison between him and
offer him a job, give him a liaison position. Yeah,
a job between her and the military.
Yeah,
and you can see that he doesn't necessarily like. I don't know if I could do that.
She's already referring to him as my Apollo. Somebody's got to pay the rent somehow.
Don't let Starbucks hear you say that.
But what I like is she does make it clear that like, oh no, it's not me needing help to communicate with the military. It's needing help to communicate with your father.
With your dad. Yeah.
No, it was the opposite. What she was saying was what is understanding the military is what she needed it for.
But she does kind of make it. Doesn't she directly say like, well, it's to communicate with your father?
No. She says she understands dealing with him,
but it's the overall military. Yeah,
because the overall military is what she doesn't understand.
Yeah, because when he pointed out that his dad was the one that made sure to arrange all of the pomp and circumstance that we were discussing earlier.
Well, for her though,
and that he in fact, and that he explained that Commander Adama doesn't like doing it, but he does it because that's the military thing to do, and that's what she didn't understand.
I see. Again, I'm not reading it that way. I am not. I'm reading it that I do agree with you in the idea that they could be doing it for the crew and that normalcy. I do agree with that part. But I think it genuinely is he's doing it to make the president feel more comfortable. He's doing it to show the president respect, to show the office.
And I can see that. I can see that with that statement, because the way that Apollo kind of brought it across was, my dad made sure this happened for you.
Yeah.
That is a bit of a mistake in the way he said that, though.
Yeah. Well, and it may be the way he phrased it.
Yes.
But it maybe did it more for if we're using the term "you" broadly as the office of the president.
Because I can guarantee that's the secondary. The primary is his crew and his command.
But I think Apollo's trying to bridge that gap as well, because let's also, I mean, in this situation, we know that that's not actually Apollo's mom, but this is like the worst divorced parent situation for him ever.
Referring to him and making him a liaison, and he's already talking about making him pay rent and stuff. So
you're giving me shit about Starbuck and Baltar here, and now you're like, actually, Grandma and her grandson here want to go out.
No, I'm just walking innuendo. Don't worry about that.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, it's really like a matter too with the two of them of, like, they're literally putting this younger person in between the two older people to make them communicate. Like, tell your dad I said, tell your mom I said.
Dad.
Yeah, and that's kind of also what's happening between Adama and the president. Is he is the one person who they both can communicate with, and that he can communicate with both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of, like I said, it really kind of feels almost like they're putting him in the middle of, like, a kid between his divorced parents.
Well, and I see this as an issue where, like, I think she's viewing it with the best of intentions and the idea of, like, this will help me communicate better with Adama.
Mm-hmm.
As they convey that the first order of business is for him to go tell Adama that he's going to take this job. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know how Adama is going to view that situation, because
I know exactly how he, and I'm not talking like that. The exact way is, she is the commander in chief. Doesn't matter whether he is his superior or not. If she orders him to be in that position, he can go to his dad. He can go to Commander Adama and say, the president would like me to take up this position. And he would go, okay.
I still think that he's going to I think he's going to become more guarded.
Yeah, he himself may.
Yeah, well, yes, that's what I'm saying.
There's a difference. You got to separate his feelings from him as a commander.
Well, he's going to do right. He's going to do what he's supposed to as commander related. I don't think he's going to do anything other than that. But I do think that, like, the way that she was able to, them bonding over the book, the way that she was able to come across soft him and not stand off, like, to be able to connect with that.
But level, his feelings, even though they're important, are going to be very irrelevant to his command.
Again, I'm going with what we go by episode, my guy. I'm just
no. So am I. I'm just saying that in that position, somebody in that position, that is exactly how they do it.
Well, I would think if I was him that I would maybe feel a little nervous knowing that my son might be giving insight to this person.
But if he's also smart, he would know how to use it.
Like I said, it is a kid.
And that's the part where I'm cheating.
It's the kid being slapped between his two divorced parents.
As we wrap up towards the end of this episode, we see
the credits.
No. Boomer and Chief are communicating, right? It looks like everything has been covered up. They're never going to see. No one is ever going to find a way to trace this back to Boomer. So she is in the clear. All of the G4 has been accounted for, from the explosives and the ones we found. Like, everything is, they're good. She's golden. She's not going to be any, she wants to, she looks at him, and I think she is trying to convince herself at this point that she's not a Cylon through his eyes. Because I think she's already kind of having this weird thing in the back of her head where she's like, oh, I think I might be a Cylon, but she can't admit that to herself. So she's looking at him, and she needs him to admit or tell her that she's not a Cylon, so that she can still, process and be able to live with that. And she tells him, she goes, I need you to know that I'm not. And so, he's like, yeah, I believe you. You're not a Cylon. I love you. And we see that that's supposed to be like the end of it. Well, then she leaves the locker or wherever they were. And that face that she makes. I wrote Boomer, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark, question mark. Because I was like, that face is like, is that the moment where she is switched back to Cylon Boomer? Or what is going on in this moment? Or was she Cylon Boomer when she was communicating with Chief and that was all a lie and fake? Like, I don't like what is going.
Yeah.
She went into screensaver mode.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
She's just got this line going right.
No. She didn't go resting nothing there face. She went, oh, something.
No, I
I think that's a very, and also if I remember, the camera angle wasn't it like kind of at an angle.
Yeah, it was like a weird angle. Yeah,
I liked it. It was a cool choice to do in that corridor. Yeah, I think that's a solid ending to an episode 2 because it leaves you like, well, shit, I really want next week's episode. Why do I have to wait for a whole week? God damn it.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't.
Well,
I mean,
you did in 1980, in 2005.
1985.
Yeah.
I was like, a little way back.
I'm old. Shut up.
All right, they're Bowling for Soup back in 1985.
He's like, 1985 was just 10 years ago. What are you talking about?
Back in my day.
As I have no room to talk, but
it's okay. I was just having a conversation the other day with a coworker about like emo bands and realizing that those were all 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I have an article coming out this week that is celebrating the film 10 Things I Hate About You as it's celebrating its 27th year this month.
I walk into grocery stores and I hear music from my 20s.
And they're like,
you know how soul destroying that is.
No, if I used to dance to it in the club, I should not be hearing it in my grocery store.
Exactly.
Wait, does that mean in like 10 to 20 years at the grocery store when I'm shopping, am I gonna start hearing like the sweat drip down my balls?
You already hear that. You already hear that. I'm just telling you, man. By the time Gen X hits the nursing homes, man, that shit's gonna be lit.
Do it for the vine. They're gonna show me how to Dougie. Show me how to. We're gonna do all those things, right?
Us Gen Xers are gonna be the worst octogenarian, in old people homes ever, or the most entertaining, depending on how you look at it.
I have seen TikToks with people joking about, right now when we talk to our grandparents, like, oh, how did you meet grandma? And they say, oh, I saw her and she was the most beautiful person ever. And they jump forward, 30, 50 years. How'd you meet grandma? Well, I slid into her DMs because she was looking mighty fine on that Instagram, and she had them bikini pictures, and oh man, I needed that.
Well, she hit me up on Snapchat,
Yeah, we matched on Tinder, and we went that night.
Like all the kids. Oh god, what was it? And I know this is totally off topic.
Yeah, we're already off topic. It's fine.
Yeah, we're always off topic.
There's a topic,
right? Freak Off. The spring break Freak Off, and they did this 20-year reunion like because it was a big thing back in the late 90s, early aughts. And there was some dude watching it. Well, it was more of an East Coast thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and there was this dude. He's watching it because it was like a documentary, and all of a sudden he's like, "That's my mom!" Like,
makes me just want to yell, "Rumspringa!"
Yeah.
Well,
Stifler's mom.
Freaknik. That's what it was called. Freaknik. That's what it was.
I'll have to look this up because I have not.
Yeah.
Well, going back to Battlestar Galactica, which is also 20 years old at this point. Let's all feel old. That that was, episode 2, guys, and I think this is a solid start to the series. Like, if again, as we mentioned this last week, if you would watch the first episode, would you be hooked? You're in episode 2. Most of the time, I usually give at least a show like 3 episodes to give it like, is it gonna, like, am I gonna finish the season or not? Right now, are we on track, Kat, for you to want to finish this season?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, even if it's just for Head 6 and her shenanigans.
I was gonna say, I'm like, is it just for Head 6 and Baltar to see what trouble they get into?
And Starbuck? Like, those are the main reasons. I'm like, I gotta see what these two do, because they feral. Like, they're feral before women being feral was a thing.
So, well, now we're bringing that up. We gotta say, one, do we think Baltar? And I know answers, but I want to ask Kat this stuff. Do we think Baltar is going to hook up with anyone, and Head 6 is going to cause issues for that?
Oh, if I was Head 6, I would. Like,
in mid thrust.
Like, hold up, let me kill that for you. Like,
Or you don't
think
I think
cheering
him on, maybe? Like, yeah, get it. Yeah, go on.
I think Baltar is going to hook up with Lee Adama.
You know what? I mean, maybe he likes it that way. He likes the older guy. He wants his zaddy.
Yeah.
And Adama is everyone's zaddy. I mean, he was Selena's daddy. So I mean,
hello, Daddy. Oh yeah.
Well, listen, we're gonna have so many sound effects here. That was this week's. All of this happened before. That was Battlestar Galactica season 1, episode 2, guys. And thank you for joining us again. We're happy that you're back with us for a 3rd week. We'll be back.
Story of my life. It's all happened before. It's happening again and again and again. And
maybe that's why you want to tune in each week, is to see how long it takes Chris to go crazy.
I mean, that's a possibility.
What we're gonna do is,
or to hear my unhinged theories that are probably not right, and have him just sitting there rolling his eyes.
Go crazy. Go.
We get to an episode until like we turn on the cameras and it's just a skeleton sitting there.
But hey, if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing here on Feast of Fandoms with This Has All Happened Before, make sure that you go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button down below. That way you are notified every single time we have a new episode up, or any other content on our channel goes live.
Yeah, we always fun stuff. If you like Kat and I, you definitely can find us over on the Geek Gauntlet, usually most Saturday nights. Ooh, what are you going, Birdie? What's going on?
Not in distress.
Trying to send a SOS there? Is that what you're trying to send?
No.
Okay. That, or you got to practice your princess wave. That's what you got to do. You got to do that. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in with us this week, and I look forward to having you guys back in 2 weeks for the next episode. Do we know the name of the next episode, Chris? Because I already forgot it. I think I haven't
looked that far ahead.
I was like, I tried not to look too far, but I was like, what is episode 3 called?
Act of Contrition.
Ooh, well, now we're getting away from just one word things. We're getting full like statements now. There we go.
I had a hard time reading that. I've gotten used to one word.
Well, yeah, we went from 33 to water. Now here's the phrase. But we'll be back in 2 weeks, guys, and I look forward to chatting more about it. Until then, guys, so say we all.
So say we all.
Take care.